Welcome to the Roundtable Podcast, guys. Just got to give it a minute. We can start. Well, hopefully, we can start sharing these links out if if they give us YouTube. Facebook been tripping out lately, so. But anyway, welcome to the Roundtable Podcast, guys. We would like to thank you. But before we go on to the show, guys, we would like to ask you to like and subscribe to our YouTube page. Actually, we're trying to get that page up and going. So we would love for you to like and subscribe to that page. And guys, if you can like and subscribe to that page, we would love for you to actually begin to start to share to that YouTube page. Guys, this is the Roundtable Podcast. Guys, we come on every Sunday at 4:45. And we would love for you to join us. Guys, remember, you can go to our IG page. You can go to our YouTube page. You can go to our Facebook page. You can also go to our website. The same link for every for all of those platforms that we mentioned. Guys, like and share. And also, everything is moving so fast, I got to slow it down, right? So listen, we're doing something now where, guys, if you have a business and you would like that business to be aired on this platform, we would like that you will send your information to our website, to our email. You can message us on Tony and Tasha, or you can message us on the Roundtable Podcast Official. You can send that information. And guys, if we think that it's something that we want to talk about, we'll even let you come on for 30 minutes of the podcast to talk about your business. Guys, this is free to you. Doesn't cost you any money. We just want to help your business grow in the way that we can. In the way we can help. So if that's something that you want to do, guys, share this link. If you know somebody who own a business and they probably need some advertisement, tell them about what we just said. I mean, I'm just trying to get you guys to know that we're here for the community. And now, if you're not someone who like to get in front of a camera, send us those bullet points about your business and we'll talk about it. If you have a website, we'll show the website up that talks about your business, guys. So I definitely want you to know that you can actually reach out to this platform. Guys, you're welcome to comment. Leave comments. Let us know what you're thinking. Again, I like to say there's no wrong and right answer on this platform. If you don't know, you just don't know. We have professionals here that can help put you and set you up and let you know what the truth is. Now, I don't know if it's going to hurt. Maybe the truth hurts. I don't know. But yeah, hey, you tried, right? You're going to get the answer back to you. So let's go ahead and get into this pod. But before we do that real quick, I'd just like to introduce you to our host and co-host, me being Antonio Puchel, and we have Lovely T, RW3, and Lady B on this here platform. Guys, we try to keep it live and 100. That's right. That's right. I said the word 100. You notice I didn't say 100. 100. We keep it 100 on this platform, guys, and we will love for you to be a part of it. So,
let's introduce our guest. So I am so happy we have Dr. Keba. She's back with us again. Do you guys remember Dr. Keba?
I was about to say, you back.
Yes. So Dr. Keba she's a psychotherapist, a relationship coach, an entrepreneur, a published author, and an international speaker. Thank you for joining us again.
Thank y'all for having me. And Dr. Keba, please don't be so hard on the women this time, okay?
Yes,
don't be so hard on us.
Yes. And also we have Anwar.
The men get a bad rap, so I got to help the women. I'm sorry, Lady B, to interrupt. Go ahead.
Oh, no, I couldn't. You're good. And we also have Anwar Taylor. He's a believer, a husband, a relationship coach. He is an alum of University of Maryland, College Park. Thank you for joining us. Yes, and we also have with us today. I don't want to Dr. Femi. I hope I'm pronouncing it right. If not, please correct me. If you can, Dr. Femi. He's a global relationship expert, a TV host of Dr. Femi show airing in over 80 million households, a United Nations representative, a recipient of National Relationship Expert Icon Award by World Civility Day, and author of several books. Wow. Thank you for joining us, you guys.
Dr. Femi, I caught your TEDx presentation too, just to get to know you a little bit. So looking forward to the conversation with all of you guys.
Yes. Thank you guys for joining us here on the round table. We appreciate it.
And what is this topic that we're talking about today?
Well, basically, we came across a video where it was a young lady stating that men cheat on women just because they just don't want them anymore. And so I guess we was going to show like a little glimpse of it just to kind of, see it before we kind of get started with this topic. So do we want to play a little bit of
let's get this video started so that we're not going to play the whole video. We're just going to get into it so we can just get some type of content to see what's going on, right?
Most definitely.
Let's
go ahead, produce.
Life is about. Tonight we are going to talk about, hey guys, most men cheat because most men are not with the woman they really want to be with. The subject of cheating is something that gets brought up a lot in our discussions. And I feel like for a lot of women, they feel like cheating is the worst thing a man can do. Whenever someone breaks up, they assume cheating. Whenever something goes wrong with a man, they assume cheating. Like cheating is what a lot of women are super focused on. Okay. So if you survey a group of men, the average group of men, no matter the race, if you ask them all, are men cheaters in majority? What most men will say is that most men cheat. Okay, they're not going to say that all men cheat because all men don't cheat. Okay, all men do not cheat. However, most men do. And why is that? Well, beside from, the way that they were raised, their mindset, where they are in their life. Okay, you have some men that can be cheaters at one point, and then, certain things happen, or they come to different realizations, or they get to different points in their life where they stop doing it, get out their system. There's a lot of different reasons. However, the underlying reason behind it all is that most men, the woman that they are with was not their first choice of woman. She's not the woman that he really wanted. I feel like a lot of these conversations talk about how women settle, but women may settle. However, a lot of men are pressured into relationships and marriages. Let's break that down. Fellas, you're sitting there right now. Your lady's next to you. You got to think to yourself, if I had more money, would I still have chose this woman? If I was at a different point in my life emotionally, would I have chose this woman? Have you ever heard a man say, well, I can't leave her because, she held me down? And it's a lot of men that are with a woman because she held him down. There are some men that feel like they're with this woman because, she's done so much for me, or, you know, she has stuck with me through so much that they feel as though they have to be with her. Okay. And this goes for a lot of men. Okay. And I know that a lot of y'all are probably like, what? Because this is not something people talk about a lot. But again, a lot of men are in a relationship because they have natural protective instincts and they do not want to be the bad guy.
Let's cut it down.
Okay? A lot of you all.
I'm tired of this nonsense. I'm just playing.
Oh my God.
That's right. So see, this is the thing, right? You know, before we get into the hot topic, you know, it's, I guess it's just one of those things that, you know, and I gotta play my music with this. You know, this is just. Can you guys hear this sound? Can you hear the music? Okay, good. Those who got headphones probably can hear it. I got it low. If you got headphones on, you should be able to hear pretty good. But yeah, I gotta play this music because see, this is the chill voice, right? You know, it's from all of this madness that's going on out here. You know, we use all of these excuses to why we do what it is we do. And a lot of times we always put it on someone else instead of ourselves. We just don't like to take the blame for what it is that we're going through. So we'll put it on. We'll say it's your fault. The reason why I went to go sleep with this person, it's your fault. You know, you didn't make me feel good last night, or you know, I didn't want to marry you. That's the biggest joke of it all. I didn't really want to. You forced me in marrying you, and now this is what you get. So now I'm sleeping with her over there and I choose her over here because it was your fault, you know? And then we say that men cheat because they didn't want to be with you in the first place. Now, maybe that's true. Maybe that's true. Who's me to say why you cheated? But I mean, come on now. When do we take the blame? When do we just look back at this situation and say, wait a minute now, maybe it was just my fault because guess what? I didn't have to walk down that aisle. I didn't have to tell you I do. But guess what? We did. We did. And that's where we come back to. We come back to this place to say, hey, listen, let me analyze my whole life right now. Let me look at this situation. Is it my fault that I see? And listen, I'm going to get there and I'm going to say, was it that, you know, I didn't want to be with Susie, or was it because I seen Delilah walking up the street and she had this big old huge butt? And I feel like that, listen, that's what made me want to go after her because my hormones were moving. And, you know, I'm just caught up in all this lust. You know, and I seen her over there and I forget about who's at the house right now because guess what? I'm still trying to get over some issues with me. And I see this pretty young thing sitting over here and I know that I still got my Mac game and I'm going to go over there and talk. You know, I know it. It was the person that you living with. It was their fault. It wasn't your fault. You didn't man up to this. So now let's get into this dialogue. I'm through with my commentary. You know, I'm doing my commentary, right? Let's get into this conversation. Why do men cheat? And, you know, is it really her fault? And I don't want to just throw it on the fellas. Some women out there, they're trifling, just as like some of these men are trifling. You know, they're just as trifling. And they just do it in a different way. They may be
stick to the topic.
With it. They may be a little bit more sneaky with it, but let's get off into this conversation. And guys, this right now, before we go into it and start calling names for people to break this thing down, listen, what do we think about this topic? And it's for the whole panel to talk about. Just let's break the ice on this. Do we believe that is the other person's fault to the reason why we're out here in these streets? You know, the reason why we in these streets, the reason why we going over, y'all notice I mentioned Cuba a lot. We fly over to Cuba and we go to all these different countries so we can, you know, not let our spouses know. I mean, if you got the money in the bank, you know what I mean? You fly over there and you get, you know, so you can get in low and you can, you know, meet the female and she ain't got to know about her. You know what I mean? Do we really cheat for, what is the reasons? Is it really somebody else's fault or is it our fault? What do we believe about that? Anybody? That's open panel right there.
I love what you said about just the personal responsibility. I mean, to be honest, if we wanted to really bucket it, we can go into all these different reasons of why it happened. But if we kind of wanted to bucket it, I look at, you know, the opportunities, I look at the influences, and I look at the safeguards, right? There are plenty of opportunities that exist. Let's be real. For the most integritous man, the most integritous woman, there are opportunities that exist all day, every day. However, you can have some influences on you that can amplify that. So how are you raised? Who's around you? Who's speaking into you? What imagery are you seeing all day, every day? So yes, those things do play a factor. But that last part, in terms of those safeguards, have you put any in place, or do you just think that you're immune to the influences around you? You know, do you make sure that if you're in a single environment, you know, with mostly single people and you're married, are you letting them know that you're married up front, or are you kind of just letting them assume that you're single as well? So that's what, you know, a lot of those influences that exist, yes, are going to be there, but you also need those safeguards. So I think we can bucket a lot of those reasons into some of those categories.
Come on, RW3, what you about to say?
Real quick, Toya jumped on. Toya Curry, thank you for your comment, Toya. She said, no, it's not her fault. It's from issues he has not dealt with. Again, thank you for tuning in, Toya. Well, my thought is, first of all, it's not her fault. I do believe that there are things in the environment, in a relational environment, that can increase the likelihood of someone making a particular choice. But ultimately, it's personal responsibility. We still make the choice. But I think certain things can take place to move people in a particular direction, along with what our guest said, a lot of other factors as well. But I do believe there are the environment can, for example, really quickly.
Show some names, producer.
Really quickly, if I was talking to this couple, and she mentioned how her husband, well, she would do all the work, and she was tired, and she did all the cooking and the cleaning and everything. He would just lay around, come home, eat. Then at night, he expected her to be with her intimately, and she didn't give him any energy. So all of that happened prior to decreased the likelihood of her being energetic and really involved in the intimacy. But when he began to let me pick up the kids, let me get involved in lessening the load that's on you daily, he found that she had more energy, increased the likelihood of her wanting to be more engaged at the end of the night in their intimacy. So ultimately, it's that person's choice, but I do think the environment can be created for something to increase the likelihood of something happening.
But I thought it was that, you know, she didn't have that blonde wig on.
What?
But she had the blonde wig on when I was walking up the street, and you know, she looked it really good. And you know, it was your fault because you didn't have them sexy boots on that night, and you went to bed with your robe on, and you had that little thing on the top of your head. You know how y'all
that bonnet.
You know, that bonnet on the top of your head, and I'm looking at you, and I'm thinking about what I just seen in the mall, and I'm like, look at you. See, that's why I'm gonna cheat. You know, you need to get your stuff together. I'm saying it in my mind. Obviously, you ain't saying it to no sister in her face, you know. But I mean, I thought it was that. I thought it was, you know, hey, you know, you forced me to go out here and do this, right? I thought you forced me. What you think about that, Miss Green?
I mean, it's so many reasons why people cheat. You know, I didn't hear her saying that they don't take responsibility. What I heard her saying was that there are many reasons why men cheat, you know, and so we know that accountability and responsibility is key. We know that, like, that's the bottom line. You gotta own your stuff, you know what I'm saying? But at the end of the day, there are reasons why people cheat, men and women. And so I think she was just giving us a few examples of why she believes men cheat. Now, of course, there's some immature men out here, and any excuse would do, like the bonnet and the, you know, she had on the high heel red boots and the, you know, the short skirt, and I took advantage of that. So we know that, but I also think that there are a lot of mature men out of here who have learned how to not let those vices deter them from their home. So it's so much. It's so many reasons why people cheat: mentally, emotionally, physically, spiritually, socially. Why people cheat. So, I don't.
Wait a
think
minute.
that's
Now,
the
let me
only
ask you
reason.
this.
I don't think that's the only reason, Mr. Tony.
What? Let me. Hold on. She did say now. She did say. Let's run it back. She did say that because he didn't want to be with you.
Right. He really didn't want to be with
He didn't really want to be with you. He cheated because he really didn't want to be with you.
But you know what, Sean? I'm thinking of a different level with what she's talking about, because if you get beyond just the visual, like she had this, she had that physically, I know that there are a lot of mature, responsible men that will marry a woman because they got her pregnant. And that's the right thing to do. So it kind of gives credence to the point that the lady was making in the video, that you know, her view is a lot of men cheat because they're not with the women that they really want to be with, or maybe they marry young, you know, and you grow and you end up growing in different directions, and so you're in a different space in life. And if that person doesn't grow with you, not like you, but if they're not growing and maturing like you are, then you end up in two different spaces. You're no longer evenly yoked. You know, you figure like, okay, this isn't the person that I feel is my life partner at this point in my life. So I think about those kinds of things when she was saying, you know, men aren't with the woman who they want to be with at first versus just a visual stimulation of sorts.
Dr. Femi, you're gonna have to make some sense out of this one here. Because this is my thing for me. Okay, so we're using the word cheat. Now, I know there's different ways of, some people say, well, he cheated emotionally. He went, you know, whatever, you know what I mean? But then, you know, it's that downright sex. I'm in this thing. Sex. I'm having sex with you. You get what I mean? And I'm sleeping with you and enjoying sex with you because she didn't want to, she forced me into marriage. Huh? Did that even make sense? Somebody got to make sense out of it. Come on, doctor.
All right, let me chime in. Let me chime in on this. This is very interesting, and everyone has spoken well. And thank you for bringing me on. I really appreciate it. I think it does not matter if you married your trophy wife or not. That will not stop you from cheating. If you marry the woman of your dream, it will not stop you from. You've seen that the likes of Jay-Z married Beyonce, right? Right? I mean, you have Tiger Woods, you have Shaquille O'Neal, you have the comedian guy Kevin Hart. I mean, guys married trophy women, beautiful women. Eric Benet, I mean, he was married to Halle Berry. I mean, he still cheated on her. So even if you married the most beautiful, elegant woman, most celebrated person in the whole world, you can still find reason to cheat.
Yeah.
Now, let me just give a little bit of flesh into this. I was interviewing a guy a while back, and he was talking about men who cheat with an ugly woman. Okay. And doesn't really mean ugly by physical description, in this case, is a metaphor. And it's about character. And it says ugly means is an acronym that stands for understanding, gratifying, loving, and yielding. So a man wants to cheat and be with a woman who is ugly, who is understanding, gratifying, loving, and yielding to his way, to his needs, to his wants. And
wow.
I know, right? So, but no matter what, right? No matter what is going on in the relationship, because we can, like my brother said, there might be factors in the relationship that can open you up to cheat, that can amplify the environment, the people you keep in your circle. If you always turn up and you guys are always partying and you're always exposed to women, that can encourage you to cheat, or your boys are cheating. You guys are on vacation and your boys are bringing some women in. I mean, it's like, okay, let me get a piece of that as well.
Yeah.
So that I don't feel left out, right? And my boy is not talking down on me like, man, you are no fun. Why did you even come on this trip with us in the first place?
That's right.
Right? So you have the peer pressure, you have those things. But at the bottom of it, it comes to your choice. It comes to, are you disciplined? Are you matured?
Yeah.
Are you responsible?
Yeah.
Those are the things that will make you toughen up in times, when things are hard. You might even get upset with your partner one day, just mad. You're having an argument. And then you leave the house being mad at your partner, and you go to the bar and you just see one girl just sitting next to you and just pretty and looking fly with her hair done. And, she's just giving you that hair like, come get something.
Right.
And you're already mad at your partner. It's like, man, this is an excuse right here.
That's right.
So no matter what, you married a beautiful woman, having issues in your relationship, these are things and reasons that can make you cheat. But those that prevent themselves from cheating are those that are really disciplined. They have that self-discipline. Right. They have that mental toughness.
See, Taylor, Mr. Taylor, listen. See, that's what I'm talking about. See, my thing to this whole situation is that what about temperance? What about mastering self? What about those issues? And I get it, we can run out. And see, I'm gonna be honest. What the doctor just said makes more sense to me, because now it's showing me that it's something that's dealing with me in more internally. You know what I mean? It's not. Yeah. It's more this thing where I wasn't disciplined anyway. When my fellas came over or we went somewhere and we probably shouldn't even been in the club with the strippers at in the first place. But anyway, just the fact that I'm there at this club with the strippers, right, and I'm already weak. You see what I mean? Now I can use her as the excuse. I can use her as the excuse. It'll be an easy excuse, right? But I mean, is it really just that, or is it really just the excuse is not her? Is really me not having temperance, not having self-discipline. You know what I mean? Don't know how to resist myself from this situation that's going on, because guess what? For one thing, I'm selfish. It boils down. I'm selfish. I don't care. I don't care if I'm going to hurt her. I care about this is me meeting my need at the time. So am I really blaming it on her, or do I just leave the relationship? Why don't I just man up and say, you know what? I don't want to be in this relationship anymore. I'm not happy in this relationship. In fact, I'm going to just cheat on you. You see what I mean? If I stay in this relationship, I'm going to cheat because I really didn't want to be with you in the first place. See, why we just can't go back to those easy ways? Listen, let's examine this situation. You get what I mean? I don't have self-discipline. You know what I mean? When I see my fellas out here at these nightclubs and I'm with him in the wrong environment, you see what I mean? Probably shouldn't even be I'm too weak to even be in this environment, because anytime my fellas say, hey, listen, hey, you gonna get that? You gonna tap that with me? Yeah, man, I might as well. And then you drinking. Don't blame it on who are you with. Straighten out your house. But you know what? I digress. Taylor, Mr. Taylor, come on now. Come on, help us out with this as well.
Yeah. So I think Lauryn Hill said it a long time ago, very plain and simple. How are you going to win if you ain't right within?
Wow.
Right. And she laid it out as a very simple lyric, but it talks about that susceptibility that we have. You know, anybody who I'm sure my fellow panelists understand this is very well. The human body is selfish. The human mind is selfish. We are built for survival. We are not built to self-deny. So every time we take a hit of whether it be something to drink or especially men, we are very visually stimulated. Those endorphins are released, right? So it's not super complicated to see that I want things that are going to be self-gratifying. And so I had a client actually, he and his fiance were, and they still are, on the track to get married. I do a lot of premarital coaching with my clients. And one thing that happened was he actually was susceptible to pornography, like a lot of men and a lot of women are. A lot more men, because again, we're very visually stimulated. The porn industry was built for men. But we talk about cheating, we think of this very stereotypical Hollywood scene of going to the club, going to the bar. But evening after evening, if they were to have any kind of conflict, he was going right to the tube. He was going right to the laptop. And so, again, we think of this concept in these very Hollywood senses, but he had to address some areas within that he was trying to find online. And so it wasn't until he had the actual courage to say, you know what, I'm messing up. Like there's something that I'm doing. Until he did that, there was no way that he could put it on his fiance. So again, I think we're all hitting on the same thing. You have to address what's in yourself internally before you try to project onto someone else. It's so easy to project onto someone or something else. It's easy, it's cliche, and it lacks integrity, like we're all talking about.
So what is it that we need to address? Like, I mean, so let's get to some of these situations here in terms of what is it that we need to do. You know, obviously we get it. You cheating. We get that part. You know, you out here, you're doing what you do. You're blaming it on the next person while you're doing what you do. What should we do? Dr. Green, I'm coming to you on this one. What should we do in this situation, you know, so that I won't keep looking at a reason? This is my reason. I don't want this to be, this shouldn't be your reason. What are some things that we should do? I mean, and this is for the whole panel, you know, what should we do so that we won't keep blaming someone else instead of looking? I mean, and I get it. I think we said going across the board that it could be some things that they dealing with as far as not really wanting to be with this person. I think Lovely T said something to the fact that maybe it's a situation where they had a baby and they got married.
Forced into it.
Yeah, they felt for. I don't know how. I still don't see how you.
Yeah, like Will Smith. Real quick, I don't want to jump off the subject.
Yeah.
Like Will Smith and Jada talked about how she got pregnant. She really didn't want to get married, but she was forced by her mother, you know, to get married. If you guys can see that story later. But so she felt like, you know, like I was forced to do this. So that could have contributed to different things that happens in their relationship as well.
That's true.
So yeah, that's
true. And didn't he say to the degree where, because I don't think Will and Jayla together now, or are they have some type of arrangement?
I don't know,
some type of arrangement, friendship or
something like that.
Soul people for life or something like that.
Something like that.
Doing some new soul thing for life or something. I guess it's something like that.
Yeah.
Because they don't like they couldn't really deal with each other. They both had so they say, you know what, we just gonna stay partners.
Life partners. That's what they call it.
That's the new word in Hollywood. Life. If they don't want to, if they want to sleep around, we just say life partners, and you know they could just do whatever it is they want to do. But you know, Dr. Green, I mean, how do we resolve these issues? You know, there's got to come to a place where we gotta put a stop to this, to say, okay, let's do better. We have to do better. We hurting each other, or at least I'm hurting you. You get what I mean? What do we need to do?
Absolutely. I think the first thing you have to do is get delivered from people. You got to stop the people pleasing. I think a lot of times that the reason that we're in the situation is because We're holding on to thoughts and perceptions and ideas that people have put upon us, and we're living our life based on what they told us. So we got to get delivered from people pleasing. If we don't know who we are and whose we are, then we can't go out here and be the person that we're supposed to be. So again, you've all said that they don't know who they are because the world has told them who they are. So until you find your own identity, then you're not going to be able to to be open and honest to another person about what you really want, what you really expect, and how to move forward in a relationship. Number two is, that's it. People don't know what they want. Everybody can tell you what they don't want, but can't nobody tell you what they want. I can tell you all day. Y'all, Tony and Lady B, you ask your wife what you want to eat. I don't know. You want fish? No, I don't want that. I don't want that. I don't want that. But we don't know what we want. And so until we get clear on what we want, then we'll know how to move forward with that. And again, that comes with identity. That comes with self-work. That comes with sitting still. That comes with being alone. That comes with being quiet. We talked about this last time. The quiet is so loud that you won't be still and get quiet so you can do your work. So again, I just think it comes back to knowing who you are. And a lot of people just don't know who they are. We talk about celebrities. They have all that pressure to be, to be this person and to have this certain person on their arm. So, of course, they marry a lot of the wrong people for the wrong reasons because it's an image that they have to portray and maintain. And that persona is now that person. But when they go home and close that door, who are you really? And so, when you got caught up in the hype of the hype man has come and built you up and made you this image, and now you don't know who you are anymore because you had to buy into it. So, you know what I'm saying? So you look up and you like, I don't like you. I don't like you and I don't like me. And so now what we're going to do about it? You know what I'm saying? But a lot of people can't be that honest with themselves.
Well, and you know what, Dr. Green, and just to build on your point about knowing who you are, I think one strategy is, I'll use the term like trigger, craving, act on it.
Yeah.
And oftentimes, we are in the craving state, like Tone mentioned. You with people, and I'm with my boys, and now I might as well, go ahead and get a piece. I've already put myself in a position for the craving. I act on it. Absolutely. So knowing yourself, like for example, I'm sitting here. I don't have any urges for sex or anything right now, and I know what triggers that can get me there right now. Right. So my thing is, let me avoid that, so I won't get into the craving and act on it. So when you're in a relationship, what is it that triggers me to get to that place, where I'll make a bad decision? I always encourage guys you need to put yourself in a position so your wife can be that trigger, instead of putting yourself in all, like Tone said, the strip club, all these other situations that's going to ignite my natural cravings. Like I think Anwar mentioned about, we are created just to self-serve. We're created just to, so I'm going to put myself in a situation, the strip club, lap dances, women, where I'm just going to naturally, physiologically respond. It's too late when I'm there. When I'm at the hotel, it's too late. I'm already there. I need to avoid getting to that situation and find out what those triggers are. So
not only that, RW3, but knowing your boundaries. You have to know your boundaries. Like, I have a bottom line for me. It's a line that I'm just not going to cross. I don't care who does what. It's a line for me that I'm not going to cross for my sanity, for my spirituality, for my beliefs. I'm not crossing that line. And I don't care who and what I have to do to get out of that situation. I'm not doing that for me. A lot of people don't have that bottom line. They don't know, they don't know that wall for them. They don't know that reach for them. So you have to really dig in and know, without a doubt, like, I'm not going there. Y'all can say what you want. You can do what you want. I got enough, enough self-worth to know that is not for me.
That's right. That's right. I think we had a comment.
We had a comment.
Pull that comment up.
Marcus Washington, free yourself from people.
Oh, that's family right there. That's my family right there. Shout out to Marcus Washington, and he just got married, him and his beautiful wife last Sunday. Yeah, and that's right. That's right. That's right. You do have to free yourself from people because I think we can get caught up on trying to be people pleasers to the degree where it's affecting our own lives. That's when you know it becomes a problem. When and I'm not saying it's always bad to please other people. You know, that's not a bad thing, but it can be how you going about doing it. Is it causing problems, you know, within you that you have to always be a people pleaser where it's affecting you in your household, because it's easy to get caught up in that. Trust me, it's real easy to get caught up in that. But do you take it to the degree where you go marry somebody? You go marry? Do you,
Dr. Femi? What do you,
Dr. Femi? Come on, let's answer. Taylor, I'm coming back to you.
Permit me to spend a little bit of time explaining what I'm about to share with you. First, I think there has to be a belief system you must have and hold to yourself. For an example, I believe, and I know for a fact, that my wife and I are made for each other. That God made us for one another. So what does that mean? That means that there is nobody better equipped, better qualified, better good looking, better good in bed that can satisfy me or satisfy my wife, other than myself and my wife together.
That's right.
So when you know that, having that in your mind, it keeps you from thinking, is there somebody else better out there? Is there somebody else that looks a little bit better, looks, good or in shape, that can really fulfill me? Because once you know that this person is made for me, that means all I need that I'm expecting is with this person that I'm with. It's just a matter of them growing and them having all the tools and the resources to meet my expectation or to meet each other's expectations. So that's the first thing. The next thing now is, how do you now have communication with your partner? How do I become attracted to you physically, emotionally, spiritually, in all those different areas? You start to talk about those things. Maybe is the way I needed to dress. Okay, maybe the way, I'm just attracted to that skinny jeans or mini skirts, or, the way you would do your hair, maybe it's the brown hair, the colored hair, whatever it is that I'm attracted to. Because we are physical beings, especially men, we are attracted to the aesthetic. So you talk about those things. Maybe it's conversation that will just be so educational, so fulfilled. I need to be with a woman who is just up here mentally, right? So those are the things that maybe may be attracted to you, or that you want your partner to have in their arsenal, in their tools, in their toolbox. Now, beyond this, and I penned this in my book, which is called Revelations of Relationship. What you know about finding true love and sustaining relationships. So you just go on Amazon, type Revelations of Relationship, you'll find it there. Here are two main things that you need to know. If you want to stop cheating right now, today, you can do it. First two things, somebody mentioned it earlier. What are your triggers? You got to know your triggers. You got to know, maybe there are certain people that I hang out with that always lure me into this lifestyle. Or there are places that I go that makes me vulnerable to this, or certain lifestyle that I just live. Identify those things. And then once you identify them, then don't do them anymore. It's as simple as that. Stay away from that.
That's right.
Now, the second thing is very, very important. Very, very important. Which is, what is your why? What is your reason? Why do you want to stop cheating? Why do you want to stop infidelity? If you don't have a strong why, trust me, there will be a situation that will lure you into that, and you will commit that atrocity again. So you must have a strong reason, because that reason, if it's so strong enough that it's cemented and embedded in your heart, even if situations were to come that may open you up, that will make you vulnerable, your strong reason will come to your mind and remind you, this is the reason why I shouldn't do this. So have those two things. They will help you. And if you are spiritual, if you are a Christian, speak to God. This is the time you confess your sin and tell God, I don't want to do this thing again. Please help me. Repent. And then ask the Holy Spirit to come to you. You see, Holy Spirit is powerful for all these, spiritual people. Holy Spirit is the job that the Holy Spirit will do. Holy Spirit is an helper. And another thing it does is it reminds you. It reminds you. It can only remind you of what you already know. So if you don't have a strong reason for not committing atrocity, the Holy Spirit will not do his job. Right?
Awesome. That's good. That's good.
And that's right. And Mr. Taylor. So okay. So that's okay. So let's look at this thing, right? Let's take a close look at this thing. Mr. Taylor, I'm gonna be honest. You do resemble Jay-Z a little bit. Have somebody ever told you that?
I might have got that once or twice.
He got a resemblance of Jay-Z. Not all the way. I'm not just saying just some features of Jay. But anyway, when I keep looking, I can't say, man, why I seem like I'm talking to Jay? You know what I mean? Not this. I digress from that, right?
I mean, if you want to pass me some coins, I can do some stunts for him if you want.
That's right. I'm not talking about the big lip Jay-Z. I'm not talking about that. I'm just keeping 100. A lot of people, Jay got the big old lip. I'm not saying in that aspect. I'm saying you do got some features. I keep it 100. I'm just keeping it. I'm not saying it in a bad way. So don't think I'm talking about it in a bad way.
You're good, bro. You're good.
Jay-Z is bad. You guys, come on now. I'm getting it from everywhere, right? But anyway, listen, my thing is this, right? So, are you married?
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, good. Okay, you're married. Okay, so I can really work with this one, right? Okay, so you're married. So you going out. Have you ever, now honestly, be honest, have you ever seen an attractive woman other than your wife?
Yeah, for sure.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. So have you ever did the rubberneck? You know what the rubberneck is, right? The rubberneck is this. That's the rubberneck. That's when you got the rubberneck. Have you ever rubberneck?
I have done that for sure. I've caught myself sometimes, and sometimes I'm like, you know what? I happened. I know what it is.
So okay, so now we doing it. We getting somewhere. Mm-hmm. So now in saying that, knowing that, but here's the key to that. You said you caught yourself. Mm-hmm. You knew that this shouldn't go this way. You know what I mean? You looked and said, okay, all right, now let me get back in focus. You know what I mean? I know this is, this ain't mine. You know what I mean? So let me get back because she's an attractive. It's like women. Women see attractive men, and they see attractive men all the time. They just don't admit it. They see men with abs and muscles and all this old stuff, and and they may not just be like this. They might be like, oh, okay. They might just play the eye game and look at, So what am I saying? Some things are natural. There are some natural things where we do see attractive people in this earth. Mm-hmm. There are attractive people in this earth. Let's not make this look like we don't see attractive people, right? Okay, we don't, because we do see attractive people. But here's the thing. Now that I know that this person, God made somebody more, or not more, God made somebody just as attractive as your wife. God made somebody just as attractive as your husband. There are attractive people out here. Now, what you do with it is a whole nother thing. Like, in other words, so I see this person, they're attractive. You've seen people on TV that you say, oh, that's a nice looking guy. You've seen people on TV, whether it's a guy or a girl. But now, how do you play into it? Do you abuse that situation and say and really go on with this person? Now, what if she looked back at you, Taylor? What if she looked back at you and say, wait a minute, he rubbernecked me a little bit and I seen him. Now I'm gonna look back at him. Now she's gonna walk over there towards you. You see what I mean? Now what do? She walked back over there towards you because she think that maybe you by yourself. You're not with your wife, you're by yourself. So she walks over to approach you. Now here it go. It's on and popping now. because you know that she's interested in you. Where am I going? Where am I going with this? I'm saying to you that we do, it, just like the doctor said, we do have some sense of control. If now he used it in the biblical content terms of spirituality, meaning the Holy Spirit giving us the ability to walk away from this, you know what I mean, to guide us and let us know that you shouldn't be in this area. I like to call it the fruits of the Spirit, Galatians, the 22nd chapter, temperance, love, joy, peace, you know, and another one, temperance, meaning self-control, mastering oneself. So I get it. So trust me, I know it. You know what I mean? But I'm saying that still doesn't stop us when this person enter into us, you know, approaches us. It's what you do with it from there. So you have a part to play in this thing that you would say, you know, no, here's my time to say, no, you know what? I'm married. You know, yeah, I'm sorry if you thought any other thing in this situation. Do you find yourself saying that, okay, so, you know, these are natural things. We find there are people out here attractive, but it's how we deal with it, because you're going to see somebody, you might leave here and go somewhere and ride up the street and see somebody that's attractive, but it's how you play into these situations. Am I right about it? Is it how you play into these? Yeah. That's where I'm getting at. Is it how you approach these situations, because they gonna come?
Yeah.
Anwar, hold on. Before you respond, Anwar, okay, I want you to respond to what Tony said in this comment. Lily Fleonetta said, everybody cheats. Not some people, a few people. Everybody cheats in some type of a way, and nobody's perfect, Mr. Taylor. So what? Respond to Tone and Miss Lily.
Yeah, sure. No, I appreciate it. So, Tone, to your response, I have an example that actually I use with chatting with my wife all the time. I have a really good friend. I think you guys are up in Detroit, which is really cool. I have a really good friend who's in Detroit, and I will go up there probably twice a year just to go hang out with him. He's single, and every time I'm up there, I have, first of all, 2 rings that I bring with me just in case I happen to lose one. I make sure that I have both rings with me, and every single time I'm in. Yo, let me tell you, just in case. And anytime I'm with him, I might go to, you know, a friend of his place, and the first 2 seconds in the conversation, I'm referencing my wife. I'm referencing something that we might have just did. Oh yeah, my wife and I were just out in Vegas. So it's very clear up front who I am, what I am. So to answer your question, Tone, for sure, situations will occur all the time. Yes, I for sure will have, you know, give a quick look. But at the end of the day, like I said, are you acting on your impulses, right? So if we want to take it to the spiritual realm, we all are susceptible to sin, right? There was one guy who wasn't, and, you know, we know who he is. But, you know, we're all susceptible, but it's acting on that is really where it comes into play. And so I'll say for me personally, I have built up over the years safeguard after safeguard after safeguard. And so I don't put myself in a situation where I will be compromised. And so just to kind of address your point, Tone, and to the comment that was mentioned, everybody cheats, we could dissect that till we're blue in the face in terms of, you know, what does cheating mean? Do we mean mentally? Do we mean emotionally? Do we mean, you know, when we were in high school and we were completely immature before our brains were even fully developed before 25, right? So we can dissect that until we're blue in the face. Right. And so at the end of the day, it's about at what point do you have accountability? What point do you have integrity and self-checks for your own actions? That's really where the question is.
I want to throw a question out there if I can for anybody.
Also, the text you sent me, Lovely T, ask Anwar about why he got 2 rings. Don't text that to me. About he got something up his sleeve. Okay?
Y'all, wait a minute. Y'all cannot believe RW3 and his shenanigans. Dr. Green, you remember me saying that before, right? Do not get into his shenanigans.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. So I just wanted to ask the question. And I'll go back to Dr. Green's point about identity, right? Because particularly for people of color, that construct of identity is so complex, right? So for men in particular, men of color, like what role does power play in that decision to have multiple women or chick on the side or whatever? Or just to cheat, or just to even, I mean, ultimately, I guess it's cheating if you're in a relationship, but there's a I don't know, a stereotype or a type, like I think somebody said, like if you're at a certain income level, you and it don't even have to be a certain income level. I mean, there's even pastors, like men of the there's so many different positions of power that there's an assumed space of privilege or right that it's okay for me to have, a woman on the side. So how does that play out?
Right.
Yeah.
So you're talking about opportunity, right? Kind of what I opened up with earlier. With money, with power, just comes more opportunity. I remember actually a talk by E.T. Eric Thomas. This was years ago. He was talking about how, he may go to speak somewhere, and as soon as he's done, he is right back on a plane to head home. They said the reason being is because he knows at the level he's at now, there are 10, maybe 20 times more opportunities for him to get in trouble than there was, maybe when he first started out. So it doesn't matter necessarily your income level, like you were saying, but in positions of power, in positions of influence, in public facing appearances, you just have more opportunities to engage with people on that deeper level. So that's kind of really where that comes into play.
Well, let me ask you this. Why do you think, before you go on, Doctor, why do you think he gets back on that plane? Is it that he don't trust himself? Or is it that he get back on the plane because he knows that there are attractive women out here and you know what I mean? What's the reason that I know you don't know the answer. You get what I mean? I know you don't know his answer why he get back on it. But I'm just saying that, is it because can he just go back to the hotel and get some sleep and get something to eat? You know what I mean? He just let me get out of here. I mean, you know what I mean? I don't trust myself. I mean, I could be up in something in about 10 more minutes. You know what I mean? So let me, what's the reason? You know what I mean? Think about that. Here's the thing. I would want to know, and I'm not playing to hit situation. I'm just saying, I would want to be able to say that after I'm through with a conference, I can trust myself that if I want to go mingle on the floor, that I know that I've dealt with me to control who I am, to say, listen, I don't need to sleep with you. In fact, I don't want to sleep with you. It don't matter how many women walk by me. I guess we got to get to that place.
It was a situation where I heard a person said they don't like to put themselves in a position when they know they've been in trouble in that area before.
That's different. Now, you get what I mean? I believe that's different because now you're putting checks and balances. You're it's like that accountability. You might even have an accountability partner to say, hey, listen, I'm about to get on the plane, Doc. You know what I mean? I'm just let you know, I'm on my way back to the hotel. That's an accountability because you felt to those problems and them issues before, and you just want somebody to support you.
Yeah, but what about for a person who used to be like a they used to rob, I'm just saying, and then they get put in a position where they're over money, I think it would be harder for that person just to stay away from that type of area. So maybe he cheated before, maybe he said, I need to not put myself in that situation.
I think those are different situations that now, that's just saying that, you're putting checks and balances so you won't fall to this again. Mm-hmm. But I'm saying, generally speaking, if you just know who you are and you know what you've been meditating on, and I think a lot of times, and I know we got to cut this in a minute. I know a lot of times you have, and I hate to go there, but I am gonna go here. You have these pastors out here, and I just they keep falling in the same situation over and over and over again, like a John Gray. Yeah, I'm going to throw his name out there. I mean, guys slept around. He keeps sleeping around, keep going back to his wife, keep accepting him back. I mean, he got this big old around. Go ahead. What'd you say?
He didn't. Well, I don't know. I'm just saying from what I read. He didn't sleep around. He just was engaging in conversation, being in emotional relationships with people. He's saying he never slept with these women. This is what they said.
That man he slept. He hit. He was hitting hard. He know he was. He was in them hotels, butt T-bone naked, calling them girls. I'm just playing on the phone. You know, I'm just playing. I'm just playing. I got to keep it funny. Yeah. But I mean, regardless to what it is, you still keep playing the same game. I mean, we really don't know. We really don't know if he did anything or not. But it's not just him. It's many of pastors, and it's more of them still getting caught up even now. See, that's my thing. You know, I mean, what is it going to take you to learn that you need to get yourself together, Doc? You got to get yourself together. You know what I mean? So okay, here you go. Do they want to be with their wives? If we take what this lady say, do they really want to be with their wives? We're talking about these pastors. Do they really?
So why don't they just leave? That's what my question is. Why won't they just leave? Why they want to be selfish? And if they want to go do what they want to do, why won't they just say, just leave? Because they have too much wrapped up, I guess.
No, it's probably too vested. You know what I mean? In their relationship that, it's not worth. It might cost them
more to leave.
It might cost them more money to leave than for her to stay and not deal with my issues of this lustful demon that I'm dealing with. I'm just playing on, but this lustful thing that I'm going through. So what I do is I just keep acting out. I don't change. And we had that conversation, RW3 and Lovely T, on our panel with John Gray. And I mean, it's just one of those things, guys. I'm gonna have to wrap this. This is one we could continue to go on, but let's get some solutions on the floor.
Yeah,
I want to sum it up with some solutions.
In case somebody's watching.
Yeah, somebody's watching. Go ahead. You go ahead and say it.
In case somebody's watching, is it something that you guys would like to tell them, like some things that might be able to help their relationship in some kind of way? So I guess I'll start with Dr. Femi.
Everybody get used.
Doctor.
Everybody gets used. Don't get misused. Okay? And so what I mean by that is we all have a motive for why we do something. Good, bad, or other. We're in a relationship for a purpose. You make them laugh, you make them smile, you make them feel good, you spend money on whatever that thing is. We all get used. Don't get misused. And what misuse means is to use it for the wrong purpose or a reason. And so when it comes to a point where it's now abuse, where it's now unhealthy, where it's now, causing you stress in your mind and your body and in your life, then it's time to reevaluate that situation in that relationship. So my words is this, you gotta weigh your relationship out for yourself. You can't listen to what other people say. You can watch other people's relationships. You can look at it from somebody else's window. You got to go inside your house and fix your own relationship, and you got to decide what you will and will not accept for yourself. So again, everybody gets used, don't get misused, and that's just how it works. So you got to know what you will and will not take.
All right, Lovely T, what do you think? Some last minute. Okay, well,
go. Yeah, you can go around.
Okay, Dr. Femi.
Yeah, absolutely. You just have to flee from temptation. You have to protect your environment. What you said E.T. does after speaking, I think he's just protecting himself and him being responsible, because you can never measure how strong you are. Situations can tell how strong you are. So, and in life, situations and tests will keep coming, and your strength will come from that. So it's better not to put yourself in situations that you don't know how strong that situation is than what you are at that moment, right? So the best thing is just flee from situations that may expose you or may make you vulnerable. And, pick up a book on how to stop cheating and append this in my book, Revelations of Relationship. And I believe that will help you, because that has helped a lot of people.
Do we have that book? Do we have anything to put up on screen for the doctor, producer? Go ahead, Taylor. Say no. Lovely T was going to say something. Then Mr. Taylor can say what he was going to say.
Well, first of all, I think Dr. Green, I think you need to get with a t-shirt company, because you have the best slogans ever. Okay, so you know, even one of our viewers pulled them out. So you should really think about that though. Other than that, I guess yeah, you know, I come from a world of social work, I come from the world of domestic violence, sexual assault, things of that nature. And we always tell tell the people that I work with, like, it's not your fault. You know, people have to own their own actions. So if I like the fact that you do have to reassess, reevaluate. You know, if this person is cheated continuously, then you know you don't get something different by doing the same thing. So perhaps you need to, you know, take a break. But some type of disruption needs to happen to that cycle in order for it to stop. So maybe if you do something different, that will force them to have to do something different and you know, protect yourself. For the person that's cheating, like you say, there's a number of reasons. Like, we didn't even talk about sex addiction, right? But the thing is that you have to, I think, Mr. Taylor, you said it best with Lauryn Hill's lyric, like, you have to look from within first. You can only give what you have to give. So if you're comfortable with the cheating, then maybe the married life isn't for you. Just stay single and then, you know, date or whatever, you know what I'm saying? But don't hurt somebody because of your own selfishness. So I think, yeah, that would be it.
Go ahead, Mr.
Beautiful.
Taylor.
Yeah, and actually my point was literally a springboard from that. And I think it's one of the hardest things for people to do, but it's also one of the most simplest things to do. And that's to be honest with yourself. Too many people are in denial about where they are, who they are, and what they want. As soon as you're honest with yourself, the logistics and the how-to will work itself out. But that part cannot be done from any other place but from yourself. You got to be honest with yourself.
And then I also have this one thing, if you're looking in a mirror and you're always you're pointing at somebody else, but where's that finger pointing at really? It's pointing back at you. So it's working on you. And so that's the first step. That's what I believe. So.
And that's what it is, guys. We thank you guys for the panel.
Thank you guys.
You know, it's only a pod. You can only go so long.
Where's
our clip track? Where's our clip track?
Anwar didn't tell us about what he do. Like, Anwar, you didn't tell us about you have a business or you have a website or anything you like to share?
So folks can follow me at real_relationships_matter. I do a lot of premarital coaching. I'm currently in school to become a marriage and family therapist. So I am getting the skills sharpened in that respect. But for right now, people can come to me if they want to work on building that foundation. So my philosophy is a good offense is better than the best defense. So we're going to build that offense way before you get to the wedding day.
That's
that's
awesome. Good. I like that. That makes a lot of sense. So, guys, we thank you guys for coming on to the show. And we got some we got some lower thirds up here. I don't know. Did we get
people? Give Dr. Green a chance too, guys.
Say it again.
Dr. Green needs opportunity.
Yeah, Dr. Green. That's what I was about to say.
That's cool. You can follow me on all social media at Professor Keba, Professor K Green. I don't even know my name. PROF.K Green. You can follow me on all social media. Again, my book, Better, BETT-R, 21 Ask and Answer Questions on Love, Relationships, and Marriage. You can find that online on my website, better.com, better.life, BETT-R.life.
That's right. You got to take care of yourselves. Take care of yourself and each other. I always say if I'm doing what's right, if I'm taking care of me and you taking care of you, we can come together and take care of one another. Because guess what? I'm not being selfish and you're not being selfish. So we can go and we can work together and work all these issues out. You know, at the end of the day, you know what I mean? Whoever that higher power is, mine obviously is Yeshua HaMashiach, Jesus the Christ. You know, that's who mine is, and that's my counselor. You know what I mean? That's who I need to go to and work out my issues. You know what I mean? So we all have them. So that's the thing. So guys, take care of one another. if that's how I'll end this podcast, is take and love one another so we can get into the next show. Guys, we thank you for coming on,
joining us.
For joining us. And
here on the
we
round
definitely
table.
would like to reach back out to you guys again sooner or later to talk about that book. I want to talk about that book, Dr. Femi, that you got going on. Let's see what that book's talking about. So we might be sending you another conversation to just talk about the book itself, because the topic is just interesting when I hear it anyway. So kudos to you guys. Yes. Take care of one another, and we love you guys. And stay black, right?
I'm proud.
Stay black. That's right. All right, guys, we're going to the next pod, guys. Into the next podcast. I want you to bring this next podcast on, this next show, this next one on. About this next podcast, this next show, guys. We just thank you for pretty much for coming out to hear us talk about this issue about he don't want you anymore. Our next topic that we're going to get off into is an interesting one. We have some guests that's going to be coming on, and we're going to talk about
discriminalization of.
Is it discrimination or is it straight prostitution? Legalizing prostitution,
sex work.
Yeah, the decriminalization.
Of criminalization
of sex work.
Well, and we know that it's bad. I think it has something to do with the Ann Arbor area legalizing it, or the way we worded it. It didn't necessarily say that it was legalized, as it was. The prosecutor said from what we were. I guess the article was saying that they didn't. They said they wasn't going to arrest people who participated in that behavior. Am I right about that?
Yeah.
They wasn't going to arrest. I don't know if it was it legalized, or was it they said that they wasn't going to participate if you wasn't going to get arrested if you were doing it. You get what I mean? So, but we're going to talk about this. Let's talk about this issue right now. And Lady B, let's see who's our guest on the panel for today.
All right. So we have with us today, I can't really see Alice, but we have Alice J online. Thank you for joining us, Alice. So Alice, she's the founder of Sister Survivor National Connect, human trafficking advocate, a neighborhood legal service, author of creator of Out of the Darkness. She is it's a survivor story. Who am I now? So we want to thank you for joining us, Alice.
I think she popped out.
Oh, all right.
I heard our guest here.
All right, awesome. Well, she's back now. Hi, Alice. Thank you for joining us here on the round table.
Hello, how are you?
Finding you.
And I think she has a guest.
We have with us also Ivy Nichole. Hi, Ivy. How are you? Thank you for joining us here on the round table.
That's right.
So Ivy Nichole is a social worker. She is a founder of Let's Have Girl Talk mentoring program, and she is a former Michigan House District 6 candidate.
Okay.
Awesome. Thank you. Right. Thank you guys for joining us here.
Here to bring you the tea.
Yes,
right. That's right.
Awesome.
We're about to bring the tea.
Right. So what is it? How are we titled? How are the titles on this part?
Well, basically, we're going to just kind of dive into it. We're going to be discussing the Washtenaw County Prosecutor Eli Savit announced Thursday, that was January 14th. His office would no longer seek prosecution of individual engaged in consensual sex work, focusing instead on cases involving human trafficking, sexual assault, and the sexual exploitation of children. So we want to kind of we know that they, Alice J and Ivy, they know more. They come from that area of education in terms of know what's going on. So I want them to kind of just introduce themselves and kind of go from there. Okay. Yeah, most definitely.
Yeah,
I just want to jump in and say it's a long time coming.
That's right.
I'm glad you stopped right there because I'm Alice J and I am a lived experience expert. I was taken by force at 12 years old, exploited across the country. I spent 17 years in the life, and I have 17 years of recovery. Also the published author of a couple books and do a lot of stuff to try to help women across the country and in our state. One of the things that you just read, which is disturbing, is that he's saying that they're not going to arrest the girls, and they're not going to arrest the girls, and they will help them if they, you know, are involved in human trafficking or sexual exploitation. Now, throughout history, I'm talking about for 100 years, for the past 100 years, this population of people have never said this is happening to me. This is why it's been right in front of our face, and you know, no one has tried to reach out to these women. We actually had to change the word from prostitution to sexual exploitation and human trafficking, even to get people to talk about it, to even recognize that these were human beings and not criminals, and they were victims. And so that's two things that are problematic. Is because when he says decriminalization, it's a lot of noise in the background. I don't know what that is, but when he says
somebody, okay, yeah.
Thank you, and because I'm trying to talk over it, but I don't want to seem like I'm yelling. Because decriminalization, right, in itself, it says that she's a prostitute. Now, mind you, prostitution is linked to unclean, unholy, ungodly, unchangeable. Prostitute is, you know, a cage for every unclean spirit, all these negative incantations that come with that word, that we had to change the word just to get people to recognize what it was and go before the Senate and demand that they change the laws where children are concerned. So now they want to leave them with that word saying they're prostitutes, right? But decriminalization, sexual exploitation and prostitution, sex workers, how they want to say it, sex workers, is the same thing. It's just sexual exploitation survivors, which like myself are women who are in recovery. Now, this prosecutor didn't come to us and people who work in this field, who professionally help women get out of the life, get off the streets, get out of these trap houses, you know, get off drugs and help them start a new life, right? So he didn't come to us. He went to sex work and big business. Now, mind you, there's no difference between a sex worker and someone who is sexually exploited and in recovery. So if you're going to ask somebody for help, you're going to go to the alcoholic who's drinking, or you're going to go to somebody in recovery. So, you know, it's very problematic. The whole way that he presented it, like, oh, this is the oldest profession. No, it's the oldest oppression. You know, sex work should never be considered a job. In a moral and just society, I should not have to sell myself to eat. And someone called that a job.
Good morning. I mean, I'm sorry. Lord have mercy. Good afternoon, panel. When you all sent the information to us this week, I broached the topic with multiple people, so I'm giving you from people that could not make it to the podcast. I want to put this out here to the people on the panel. Part of what they were asking or were saying in terms of if it's my body, mine, why shouldn't I be able to choose what to do with my body? If I want to say, hey, give me $10, let's have sex, why can't I make the choice with my own body without, and I got this from a conservative who generally has less government intervention, you know, less government is better. So saying that, why is it that I cannot choose to do what I want with my body? So if I choose to charge someone and I catch something and it's not a weight on society, what difference does it make? If I choose to, you know, have unprotected sex and I have insurance and I catch something, it's my body. So that's one of the arguments they wanted me to bring out to the table with respect to that.
Okay, but hold on, let's do this real quick. Before we do any commenting, let's set it up, because there's somebody who might just be coming in and they don't even know what we're talking about. So let's set this up real quick, and that's what I wanted to kind of do. Before we go there, let's let our other guest, Miss Ivy, let's let's find out what it is you do so that you can speak real quick, and then we can get into the actual show itself.
Oh, why do I keep getting booted off this thing? Worker. Oops.
Can you guys hear me?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. I'm Nichole. I am currently a social worker. I've been working in mental health for about 6 years. I'm a former exotic dancer. And to your point, I just want to kind of bring that up. I chose to go to school because I got tired of taking off my clothes and sneaking around the pole. So that was my decision to say, you know what, maybe I should go to school and do something better with my life opposed to taking off my clothes. So this is where we're at with the sex work policy. But yes, I am a social worker. I am a former exotic dancer. And once I actually got into the field, I was a counselor working with at-risk girls and kids that have been trafficked.
Okay.
And once I seen how the system was, that's when I made that ultimate decision to run for office, because I figured, you know, you can only do so many coping skills. You can only run so many groups. You can only counsel for so many hours, because if the law is not on your side, none of this works. None of this is going to happen in the future, and it's going to be no real progress. So I stepped out. I ran for office because I wanted to change laws, right laws around sex trafficking, sexual exploitation, and mental health. And that's who I am.
Okay, great.
Awesome.
So now I'm glad we got that cleared up. So now here's the thing. So now, okay, so in Ann Arbor, Michigan, there may be someone who's watching. They don't know what we're talking about. In Washtenaw County, Ann Arbor, Michigan. I don't know if this a law that passed, right? Are we saying that a law passed, or are we saying this is what the prosecutor decided not to do? He said that, listen, so we can get that cleared up. I don't know if this a law that passed. Is it?
This is what the prosecutor decided to do.
Okay, so the prosecutor decided to do, which I think that can be fought because it's not a law. You get what I mean? To say, okay, so to legalize prostitution. So we need to look more, and guys, we don't really know what's going. I don't think we didn't look deep into the Ann Arbor and what's going on in that area. But what we're doing is
he wanted to focus on. He said you know, because I had read this a while back. He said he doesn't want to prosecute and he said he wanted to focus on the actual trafficking and sexual assault and other areas.
Yeah, so we're making it clear. We're not saying, we don't know that if there was a law passed to legalize prostitution. There
was not a law passed to legalize prostitution. But this is why it is so important for people to understand, like, there is no difference between a sex worker and the sexual exploited survivor. So, and allowing the survivor who has actually lived through it have a voice in this is what is so important, because we see it through an eye of recovery. Right. We want them women to have hope in a way out. And that is our primary focus. And the men who are being who are seeking them out, because they are like the weakest people on the planet. They have no weapons. That some of them have no IDs, no social security cards, no birth certificates, no place to live, no clothes, no God of their understanding, no support system.
Well,
and a lot of them are on drugs or mentally ill. Some of them is in foster care system. Runaway.
Well, hold on for 1 minute. Let me just, so I can set you up. I want to set you up so that you can speak on it. But okay. So what I'm trying to get a better understanding of this situation. And again, remember, we got an audience. They're looking. They're trying to understand what's going on. So now here's the thing. So let us know. Okay. So how did this come about? We get it that he said that he's not going to arrest anybody that's participating in this behavior, but he will go after those who are dealing with sex trafficking, right? Exploitation of young kids. I believe it was something to that degree. Okay, so we get that. So he said that, listen, I'm taking off I'm not worried about going after prostitution, but I am going to deal with this issue. Now, do we know how this came about? How did this come about?
Well, it came about when the Attorney General I was on a call with the Attorney General, and they brought it to my attention that that they were going to put this policy in place in Washtenaw County. And as a survivor who spent many years in a life and who has helped thousands of women, and I have built systems in our city and around our city that has helped thousands of women. I see this as it's kind of a smack in the face. All the survivors all over the country have been fighting to get women, to get children to be stopped calling prostitutes, number one, to get these women, to get the legal system and the medical fields and the social workers and the guards and the judges and the court system to stop looking at them as criminals and see them for what they are, and that they are victims of sexual exploitation. How they got there should not matter.
Well, Ms. J, let me ask you this. Let me ask you this. Do you know why did he decide to do it this way? Do you know what is the reason for him saying that I'm gonna do it this way?
Well, because he went, when the policy was brought to him, they did the same thing in Washington. It's kind of like a cut and paste from what they did in Washington. And we went out there, we're doing the same thing we're doing now in Washington. And they removed that policy with the equality policy. And we're hoping they do the same thing here. But I think he's just misinformed. And because he put his name on it, he doesn't want to look at it any other way. We have sat down with him. I had a panel of 30 survivors on the call. 30 survivors told him across the country and in our state, the most powerful women in this movement and allies and the world against exploitation was also on there. We all spoke to this point. We all told him how problematic this could be, and that pimps would come from all over the country just to traffic women in our, you know what I'm saying? But he did not even acknowledge that he talked to us. First of all, he sat there, listened to the whole thing, and all he did was defend himself, and what I told him exactly was, don't allow your ego to not let you even get the knowledge that we're bringing to you, because we're offering to help you save lives.
So let me ask you this, and then Ms. Ivy, I want you to, so we can get this build up. Okay, so now, so you guys went to the prosecutor. I guess we're talking about the prosecutor. You went to the prosecutor and you were telling him how that he should not allow this thing where they're not arresting. They're not going to arrest sex workers. They're not going to arrest them if they participate in this behavior anymore. And then he came to you and said that. So you guys are telling him, listen, this can't happen this way because of this and this, meaning turns around, it can bring or heighten sex trafficking in this area. So we know that this is not a good thing to do. So now, what did he say when you came to him and say, hey, listen, this is not, we can't do this. This is a bad thing. What did he tell you specifically? What did he say?
Go ahead, Ivy.
Ivy, do you want to speak on that?
All he pretty much said, what he said was a lot of nothing. He listened to us, and at the end of everything, he just kind of said, well, in so many words, it is what it is. And that was his approach to what we were doing, what we were saying, because it's like, and Alice can speak on this as well. The whole system is messed up, because if you're saying that you're not going to prosecute these buyers unless, the girlfriend feel threatened or anything like that, I mean, and like Alice had pointed out before, they don't even know this policy exists, for number one. Number two, I mean, when I was dancing, I don't think I knew any of my, buyer's real name.
Well, see, here's my thing. I guess what I'm trying to go at.
So what we're going to do is say, Mickey Mouse did this to me. Mickey Mouse did X, Y, and Z. Like, you're going to go out and you're going to find Mickey Mouse to prosecute. You're not going to, you're not going to get any type of real information. So I mean, you know, if something happened to a girl, I mean, she could just go say Donald Duck, Mickey Mouse, because that's what he told me his name was. So that's who you need to go look for.
And it's deeper than that too, because you have someone who you have labeled a prostitute, who society sees as a prostitute, who the police see as a prostitute, the court system and everybody else sees as that, even though she is not. She is God's daughter. She is somebody's mother. She is somebody's child. She, you know what I'm saying? She's somebody's sister. But it's her word against this man of society, and he don't have to be high society. He could just have a job in a car.
Okay,
you know what I mean? Be married, be a teacher, be a social worker.
What I want to add to this is this. Let me mention this. Do you guys have a lawyer in place? Do you have a lawyer in place to go after the prosecutor? Here's the thing. If he can, well, maybe he can, but as far as my understanding, he just can't tell you what he's going to do unless it's he's got to do what the law says we do. So my thing is that if he's
and that's all we're asking him to do is uphold the law. The law says.
Listen to what I'm saying. But listen to what I'm saying. Do you understand that you have to get an attorney involved, and then if it's the case of what you're saying, that you will go after the city of Washtenaw. You will have to sue them, put them in a lawsuit because he said that he's breaking the law. So that's what I'm saying. So I'm trying to understand more about this. Why don't you guys get an attorney to go after? And if anybody know anything about this in terms of what I'm saying, can he be in trouble for breaking the law? Because it's not a policy put in play that says that prostitution, and listen what it is. I hear what you're saying, but it's called prostitution. Prostitution is not legalized in the state of in the city of
county of Washtenaw County.
Now I don't believe it. Oh yeah,
yes,
in the state of Michigan.
But he has, for some reason, I don't know why he has the power to change it to decriminalization. And so, and that was my biggest thing. Like, how does this man get to decide what happens to these women based on, you know, some sex worker and domestic violence professionals who told him whatever they told him, but he didn't come to any survivors who had been exploited or trafficked. His policy only protects the sex worker. The buyers. It protects the buyers, because what we're asking them to do is to continue to identify the women so that we can service them. And then you charge the men for seeking out the meek.
So did you bring the news into this? Did you guys see, I'm saying it just seemed like, you know, I don't know about this, but what I'm telling you about law. So my thing is in this area, did you guys expose this by going to even the news to get the news reported?
We did a little short thing with Channel 4, so they're going to be airing that pretty soon. We have a Twitter storm coming up where we're going to have it tweeted like 3,000 times, and we're asking people once we do that to continue to push it because we're trying to get national recognition. We have a town hall meeting coming up with the mayors and the commissioners and the prosecuting attorneys and the schools and in the districts all around him coming up. And then after that, we're having a rally. If all else fails, we will sue. We're trying to give him the opportunity to allow us to help him.
So I want to make a comment then, I guess, kind of build upon a question I asked. I just looked at this to get a little bit more on what his argument is. Part of his argument, you all were sitting with him, I guess for our audience, part of his argument is, Tone, is that when the sex workers are involved in this illegal behavior, he said going after the sex workers, and not necessarily the Johns, but the sex workers, it makes it more difficult for them to leave the industry, because when they get charges, they have a criminal record. If they do want to get out of it, it's more difficult to find employment. So his argument he's making, he's saying that so if we don't charge them and we don't go after the actual woman, it gives her, I guess, I guess
no,
a lesser path.
Hold on. I work for
I know, but let me finish and jump in. Let me finish. Let me finish what he said. So he said the path will be, he said it'll be easier for that person to leave. So that's what I just read. He said, and also, could y'all please tell me and also respond, besides what you're going to respond to, about, it sounds like Nichole, because I don't see her name. I think it's Nichole. Ivy. Ivy. Are you saying that women that are involved in that particular industry are not aware? Like if a woman chooses, I want to sell, my body, that they are unaware, that they can't go into it knowingly, I want to do this and I'm cool with it. Is that even a possibility that there's something that I like to do this and I want to make money this way? Is that even possible? So I'm throwing those things out there for y'all.
Okay, so I'm gonna go back. I'm gonna answer that, and then Ivy, you can speak to it too, because I want to finish the point. Okay, so my name is Alice J. I work for Neighborhood Legal Services, Michigan, and I created a human trafficking identification program where I identify and service maybe 400 survivors a year. Mm-hmm. And out of those 400 survivors a year, 60% of them don't know they're being trafficked. They don't know that they're survivors of sexual exploitation. 80% of them don't have IDs, social security cards, or birth certificates. 95% of them don't have housing. So when you're asking about, like, when you're asking me, and I'm looking at this from a recovery aspect, and I'm working with these women, not one time have I ever met a woman who said, you know what, I'm doing this for fun, because it doesn't happen. It's about survival. It's about trying to eat. It's about trying, and nowhere. And I go back to say again, as a moral and just society, never should we accept that a woman or a child or a boy or a man has to sell themselves just to eat. Now, if it's a grown up, they're 30, they're 25, 30 years old. They got other means to survive. They got a place to live, an ID, a social security card, and a birth certificate, and they want to go dance and they want to, exploit themselves that way. That's fine. But when you're talking about the majority of the people that it's happening to are 90%, even 95% are unable to survive any other way and have no other means to support themselves, it is not acceptable.
Well, let me ask you this. Let me ask this question. Is there things set, like, from your organization? Are there things in place where when you find these individuals off the street and you meet them, is there anything in place to help them?
Absolutely.
To get them the social security card, to get them the driver's license? Okay, so great. So that's a good thing. So there are things in place, and these are the things that you were bringing to the prosecutor to let him know, hey, listen, hey, we can make this thing right. All you need to do is keep doing what you're doing, meaning arrest those Johns or whatever who are preying on these individuals who are out here only because they feel like they have to do it, but because they don't have any money. Now, what is the level of addiction? Like, if there any, what's the level of drug addiction for these individuals, or are these individuals dealing in drugs?
Well, not all of them. So you have the sexually exploited and you have human trafficking. Human trafficking is when you have someone forcing you to do this. And you might not be on drugs. You know what I mean? Even in some sorts of sexual exploitation, it's trick, coerced, or force. I may be coerced because I believe, because my mama taught me, because she was on the streets, or my aunties were strippers, that they taught me that my worth is my body. So all I know is how to sell myself. I got pregnant at 15. You know what I mean? I have to take care of these kids, so, but at the end of the day, my thing is, it shouldn't matter how they got there. It shouldn't matter why they're there. It should matter that we, as a just people of a moral and sound mind, know that everybody deserves a way out.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
So Let me ask you this, and Miss Ivy, maybe you can help us with this. Okay, so, what is it that you guys need? Like at this moment right now, what is it that you need to make this thing better? Like, how do we resolve this issue with this prosecutor? I mean, obviously, if he's thinking his way, he don't need to be the prosecutor anymore. I mean, you know what I mean? If that's, I don't know if it's Democrat, if it's Republican, I don't know what the situation there in Ann Arbor, but maybe obviously he shouldn't be the prosecutor anymore. But now, what is it that you need? What are you asking from the audience?
Go ahead, Ivy.
We're at like from him or like just people in general, because from him, like Alice stated earlier, like she stated earlier, we're asking for the equality model, because even though you're not going to prosecute the women, you're still saying that you're not going to prosecute the buyers. That's an issue. You know, that is the problem that's on the floor right now. People don't understand, like, you can't just go out and buy women. Like, that's not okay. I mean, if I have the choice, okay, do I want to sell my body, or do I want to be a social worker? I mean, like, let's be logical about that. Like, who wakes up and says, you know what, I'm going to be a stripper when I grow up. I'm going to work the pole. I'm going to sell myself on the corner when I grow up. I want to sell my body on the internet. No one is doing that.
Yeah, and we are working on a lot of things. Can you tell me some of the stuff that we need help with?
Yes, we currently do have a petition circulating, so we do need people to sign the petition. We're going to need people to come out, rally behind us during the town hall meeting, during the rally and the protest that we will be planning. Just watch us closely, because we plan to make a lot of noise around this, and we're not going to stop until we get what we want.
Absolutely, because lives are at stake, souls are at stake. And you know what, like when it was like when I published my book, it was a big thing, you know, with my family. Like, why would you tell anybody that you've been through that? And no one would know unless you told them. But like I had, my reputation ain't that important. It's not more important than somebody's life. There's a child that's taking my place. And see, because I was a runaway, I was written off. And I know how the system works. And I know that the police need to be trained. The courts need to be trained. And a new whole system needs to be built in order to identify the children. That he's saying he doesn't even understand that the way he's doing it, that he won't even reach them. Like, it'll be the last thing on their mind is to try to ask for help in a system where decriminalization is legal.
And I think there's a huge.
Go ahead, love you.
I was just gonna say, like I dare not claim any level of expertise of that of a survivor, you know, experience. So let me just say that up front. I know that I have worked, and so you know, I'm probably one of those professionals that you alluded to, that you talked about earlier. But So when I said long time coming, I guess I was coming from a point of like, there's a organization called Praxis, and they did a lot of research worldwide on, you know, women's oppression and sex trafficking, human trafficking, sex exploitation. There's also this second wave feminist movement that has kind of, you know, tackled it as well and taken it on. And there are some. So I'm not saying this is me, but there are some, as you know, RW3 had pointed out earlier, that feel like it. So even though it's not complete, it opens the door. Like it doesn't.
It closes the door. It closes the door. Because what happens is you write off sexual exploitation and human trafficking. All you're doing is supporting sex work. When it's like this, do you go to a dentist for brain surgery? Why would you go to a homeless shelter and ask a homeless person how to not be homeless? You go to somebody who has been homeless and found a way out.
And I definitely agree that your voices need to be a part. You need to be at that table, putting in your input in that legislation or whatever becomes of it. You absolutely need to be right there, informing them.
Because we were there when the laws went in place back in 2009. It was survivors' voices who changed the legislation. It was my story that after I shared, they put all the bills on the floor. They could not deny me as long as I was in that room. I know the power of my testimony by all the women I have helped. I have four graduates this month, right, who are coming up on a year clean, who have spent their whole lives being trafficked and prostituted since they were 13, right? And none of them knew that they were more than prostitutes. And then I have two mothers about to give birth who is addicted to crack and heroin, about to give birth to clean babies through a system that I built with the 36th District Court.
Well, see, here's my thing, though. Here's my thing. This is my issue. We get it. We understand. We understand that this is a problem. We get that part. But see, my thing is that I don't want to underscore what's going on with the prosecution. So my thing is that what I'm hearing is that we need to put pressure on the prosecution, on the prosecutor, so that he can change his mind. So my thing is that those are the issues that need to be addressed. How to put, because here's the thing, that's what's going on in the area. Here's the thing: should we do more town hall meetings in terms of getting with our churches and our leaders that's in those communities? Because what he's saying is that I'm not going to stop these Johns from driving in your community, and possibly they can go in those neighborhoods around children. See, my thing is getting the community behind you as a voice to speak, so it'll apply pressure on this man, as well as now, are you guys talking to the mayor? What's going on with the mayor? Okay, so here's the thing. So those are the issues that I'm concerned about. I understand what's going on with what's going on with sex workers, whatever, however you want to address it. We know that they have issues, but that's not going to solve the problem. Politics is involved now. Politics is involved, and when politics is involved, you got to straighten up the politics and kick the people out. So my thing is that what's going to change his mind is pressure. That's what's going to change his mind. So my thing is that's where we need to be trying to come against, to understand how do we apply pressure. Right now, it must not be.
We have a letter right now that we're asking people to email, and so I could give you a copy of that. We have petitions out right now against Ellie Savit. You can get them on my Alice J page on Facebook. I'll post them on there as well. We like I said, we have the Twitter storm coming up next week, and we got shareables, which will be hashtags that we're going to share like 3,000 times, and we're asking people to help push them so that we can get national coverage. And
do we have a phone number? Let me ask you this: do we have a phone number that we can put out so that those people within the community can call this prosecutor up and tell him what we feel about him in this area? Is there a phone number?
Yes, I'm Googling it right now.
Okay, see, those are the things that we need.
Hold on,
we need phone numbers so that we can address and the audience will see. This is Ann Arbor. We're talking to Ann Arbor right now. Washtenaw, Ann Arbor area. Listen.
Okay, give it to him, Ivy. Okay. Ivy has it.
Okay.
Okay. The phone number to the prosecutor office is 734.
Type this in, Jasmine. Get this number for me real quick so we can put it as a lower third. Can you hear me? Okay. Go ahead and just speak the number out.
Okay, 734-222-6620.
What is his name?
Ellie Savit.
All right, let's put his name up. And we're going to stay on this. I want to stay on this, because this is something here that could make a difference if we can go after the prosecutor. If we can go after the prosecutor and say, hey, listen, We need you to hear our voice. We don't want this to go on anymore. You allowing this, and I don't know how he benefits out of this. I get what RW3 said, where he used the statement that it may allude to these individuals not being able to get employment because now this has become on their record, staining their record. So he's using that as the excuse, but he's allowing the John to come in and to participate in illegal behavior. Because that's what it is. Essentially, it's illegal behavior. Mm-hmm. And I don't believe, maybe, just maybe, those communities really, the community of Ann Arbor really don't understand what's really at stake. Maybe we need people standing on the corner and signing petitions, or even just speaking out that voice to say, hey, listen, this is what this guy is doing. He's saying it's cool that you can bring a John in your community and
absolutely
and be sexually active.
That's why we're having the town hall meeting. We got 5 very talented speakers who are going to speak to their personal story with the with Ann Arbor, because it's an Ann Arbor town hall meeting. And then we're actually going to Ann Arbor, and we're going to stand in front of his office with picket signs.
Good.
So,
good. That's good.
Another piece to that, which now this is more me than what people ask me to ask about. If you're going to do that, because in Wayne County, I'm sure they may have it in Washtenaw, like we have mental health court. So as opposed to, we have programs specifically when we engage persons on the street with mental health issues, we're not about to lock you up. We're going to connect you to the mental health court and provide you with resources and services to help you go from where you are through the treatment and recovery process, create job opportunities for these individuals. And I think with him taking the stance, well, I'm just going to turn my head to it without connecting that. Okay, if you're not going to connect this lady to, okay, so we're going to connect you through resources. And how do we help, idea? We bring you in, we're not going to prosecute you. We're going to get you connected with programs.
That's exactly what we're asking them to do, and exactly what I have built with the 36th District Court and the 4th Precinct here. And I offer to help him to bring it there to Ann Arbor. This is a working system that's working in New York and Chicago. It's just like mental health court and drug court. It's called the Human Trafficking Specialty Court. And anybody who gets arrested for any type of, anything that falls under that category, they will come through our court. We offer them services. We get them case managers. We get them treatment, whatever they need. We meet them at their level. They're getting housing. They're working. They're doing awesome. You know what I'm saying? But he won't even consider it.
Okay, well, see, that's my thing. That's why I'm still going back after this. This part to me is more about the prosecutor more about than the women, because the women are going to do what they do, but this man is allowing it. He's allowing it to happen where they can do it, whether they're thinking rationally or not. He's going to allow them to do it. So that's why I'm saying we have to definitely put pressure on him to make a better decision, because I don't think he's thinking. I don't know what type of politics is. Trust me. Politics is all about politics. See, now it's becoming bigger than, I understand what RW3 is saying, but it's bigger than that now. See, when the politics is involved, there's a reason why this guy don't want to make this type of move. So we have to find out what that is, but we definitely know he has to go if this is the mindset that he's allowing these men to come into these community and do these terrible things within the community where there's children, and you're hurting families. And then, like I said, it's making it more sustainable in terms of allowing sex workers or trafficking to enter in, because now it's all out. It's free. I mean, it's
well, and I just want to throw in there that I commend the work that the ladies are doing, because you're about to go up against an enormous power structure in terms of making an issue that primarily, because we know that boys and men and trans people get exploited and abused too. But
my brothers, yes.
But you're talking about patriarchy. You're talking about male privilege. You're talking about like just a enormous power structure and saying, hey, like you said, and forgive me, your name is not up on the screen. Jay.
The screen back up, Jazz. Keep it up.
Is that and I lost my
names.
This is like I was saying, it's a power structure because you are people too. That's what I'm trying to say. Like
absolutely.
You are people too. And they don't want to get the judge that's getting a blowjob in the alleyway. They don't want to get the sports athletes that's bringing the women over after the part. Like to put laws in place that go after the Johns, they're going after a power
somebody's
structure.
Son, somebody's husband, somebody's brother, somebody's uncle.
But guess what?
That's what they're defending.
But guess what? How many white people? Let's keep it real. How many white people are back in this situation?
They're the majority. The majority of men that buy the women and
no.
I'm
saying this helping you. Like, do you have the community? The white, hear me clear. The white community. Do you have the white community behind you?
Absolutely. I'm reaching out to the black community because the white community, they have awareness groups. They have Michigan Abolitionist Project. They got Sparrow Freedom Project. They got
wait a minute, but do the prosecution? Do the prosecutor? Are they putting?
They were on the call with me. They've been working. We've been working towards the same goal since 2009. We went up against legislation. We got Letitia Clay out of jail. We got Centobia Brown. You know what I'm saying? Like we've been doing this. We are not going to stop. He's going to listen.
He got to go. That's it. He's got to go. And see, that's the pressure that needs to be applied. He needs to go. And that's why I'm saying, if you got enough pressure, and I don't know how prosecutors are put in those positions. Are they appointed or how are they put in those positions? Do anybody know?
Man, I wish somebody tell me.
Ivy, is there any way you can find out how they are put in these? Maybe we need to know that so we can
I think they have to run, because I know in Wayne County you run for the seat. So I'm assuming that you have to run for Washtenaw, for any other county as well.
Do y'all know when this guy is up again to run?
I think
we need to find out when this guy is up to run again. See, what I'm saying is that's what we need to do.
4 years.
4 years.
See, 4 years. So what we need to do is we need to see this part. You heard him. You heard him in his seat. Nothing matters. If you're appointed, 4 years, the way you're gonna hurt him is in his seat. That's how you're gonna, when you expose this guy out there to what he's doing and how this is creating chaos within the communities, then that's what's going to affect him, so he won't be in that seat again. That's the only way you're going to get this guy. But guess what? It has to be nationally. You got to make this, you got to expose this thing, constantly getting on the news, constantly striking, constantly getting phone calls, calling him up and telling him, listen, you won't be in office again, buddy. You're not going to be in office again. You out of here. See, once you put that pressure on him, maybe things, unless he's just a sick guy, maybe things would change. Who knows? But I guess, the only thing we could do is just make it, I'm just trying to expose him. We get the sex trafficking. We understand all of that. It's just exposing who this guy is and what he's about. Now, let me ask you this. Now, and see, you're educating me because I don't know. I know by asking you. So what is the rate or the number or the percentage of Black people, African-American women that's involved in sex trafficking? Do you know that area in the Ann Arbor area? Do you know the Washtenaw area?
Oh yes, yes. I got a lot of girls from the Washtenaw area. It is very prevalent there. They used to have a sort of court that they tried to implement for about maybe 3 months or something, but they couldn't get to grant, so they just threw it out. But they're saying that they don't have any girls, and the reason why that's happening is because they don't acknowledge it. They don't acknowledge prostitution in that county at all.
Oh.
You see what I'm saying? So of course your numbers are going to be low, but that means people are dying. That means somebody's starving. That means a kid is being exposed to trafficking.
Or there's some big trafficking going on in there, and they want to keep it on the low because it's benefiting everybody. You know what I mean?
Well, I know Michigan at one point was like the top 3 for human trafficking. Is that still the case?
Absolutely. We were number 2, but we were number 2. And when you look at it at the big scale, it's because we was making so many arrests, because survivors and advocates and programs were being put in place, and we were actually getting work done. So that's why we were number 2 for the work we were doing.
Let me ask you this. Can you talk to, is this our time to start talking to pastors within those communities?
Yes. Absolutely. We want to reach out to all the churches. We want to reach out to the school superintendents, the principals, the mayors, the commissioners of all the surrounding counties, because we need them to understand that this sets a precedence of our whole state.
Yeah. Turn your audio up. Your audio went down. We lost you in the audio.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, this is president to the whole state. So we do need commissioners, court people. We need legislation. We need everybody. Mega churches. We need the regular people. Your daughters and sons are going to college in this town.
Okay, well let's do this. How can we get?
And it's right around the corner from Deja Vu.
There are 150 strip clubs in Michigan. Look, there are 150 strip clubs in Michigan. There are 150 websites for women to put themselves on. It is not going to go underground. It's already underground.
Right.
So that's a lie. Don't believe that.
Can we get some pastors on the show that's in those communities that that they are being affected? I'm just trying to make some noise and how we can make that happen. Make some noise. We can get them on the show. And maybe you guys, if you know anybody, and maybe we probably can call around to see how can we get people on the show that can talk about what's going on with this, and maybe let's see how that works, because I think I want to stay on this one just to make sure that this podcast is doing what it could do in terms of having a voice to what's going on in this community, because obviously there's a problem, and this guy needs to have pressure applied to him in terms of his actions, and maybe we'll do that, and we could start just getting some phone calls and just seeing when they come on the show just to talk about it, because that's how it's going to start here. And if you know anybody that we can get them on the show to talk about what's going on in Ann Arbor or Washtenaw County itself, and how we can work together to get out there and make our voices heard, that listen, we don't tolerate this in our communities, and you're not going to allow these people from all over to come into this community and possibly even rape. You don't know who these people are.
Oh yeah, they're going to rape. They're going to kill. Blood will be on his hands. And that's what people don't understand. I was a child. I was taken by force. I was exploited across the country. When I got out of the life, they wanted to take care of me because my mind has seen so many things, that I have been through so many things that they told me it was impossible for me to care for myself. They wanted me to sign the rights over to my son. And I have struggled to just challenge to be able to walk down that name prostitute and to be able to walk in the light and be able to take care of my kids. You know what I'm saying? I don't never want to see another woman have to suffer through this. And I definitely do not want to see a society where we just say, okay, that's fine. That's fine.
Mm. Wow, this is deep. I want to stay on this one. I would definitely want to stay on this one, and maybe we're gonna make some phone calls. Just try to see. I don't know, what we could do, but just making our voice heard is a big deal.
Yeah.
What is the next move that you guys going to do? Is there a meeting or anything that we could put up on the screen, or anything for people to attend, or what's the next move?
Well, every Sunday we do a podcast, but we also have the Twitter storm. That's the first thing we're doing is the Twitter storm, and we're gonna have like shareables of ourselves with like hashtags for is Eli Savit, talking about the policy, and so we're asking people to share those, and we're asking people to write Eli Savit an email in opposing decriminalization, and asking for the equality model. We need as many people to do that as possible. We do have a format that you can follow, so I don't know. I can give it to you. How we could do that.
And that equality model, is that also something that people can look up?
Yes. Okay. Yes. So the equality model is you ticket the women, you offer them services, and you charge the men.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah. Okay. That's good.
I wish it
you
was
charge the men that are seeking, are roaming our streets, looking. You see what I'm saying? It's a big difference.
That's right. So I wonder if there's some donations that's going to be needed, because I understand that even if there was a big billboard up talking about this guy, you know what I mean?
We're working on that too.
That's a good one. You put a billboard up and let this thing run. We need somebody with some money that can kick out their dollars, that can help, and that's applying pressure. That's a problem.
Yes, because that billboard cost a couple $1,000.
That's right. That's coming right. So
make sure y'all get a Lovely T number, because she got some money to kick in. She got plenty.
Well, I tell you what, I could donate $100. I could donate $100 to this cause of getting this billboard moving on. I would love to donate $100 to this to go, and maybe there's people out here that will be able to donate. Do you guys have any way? Where do they donate? How do they donate to you guys?
Well, they can donate through Women Win Michigan.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Women Win Michigan.
Yes. Yep. And just note that it's for the survivors and Eli Savit.
Okay, so let's do this. In fact,
and I'm willing to donate as well. I mean, RW3 has shenanigans that y'all just gonna have to ignore. But on a serious note, I am willing to donate to the cause.
Yeah, let's donate. But listen, let's do this. If you can send us some information, some information that we can actually put up on the screen, of how to donate towards this organization, I'm interested in seeing this billboard put up, so that this billboard would expose what's going on and put this Joker's picture up where everybody can see it and saying what he wants to do or what he said he will do. In fact, I'm about to say get another phone call and record it. You know what I mean? And expose that. I mean, people doing that. If that's a game he want to play, then you got to fight back with fire to apply pressure. You didn't hear that from me, but you get what I'm saying. You
Absolutely, because we did record that Zoom meeting.
Okay, good. So let's do this. Let's give us some information off screen, offline. When you get a chance, email us any information that you want. I definitely want to know how to donate, so that when we come on the pod, I'm going to do it every Sunday on how to send donations. If they're interested, I want to talk about this again, but even when you guys aren't here, just to talk about why they need to donate, to look at what's going on in Washtenaw County, so that these people would be aware of what's going on in our surrounding areas. Because I didn't know about this. A lot of people
know what, Tom? I don't know if I want to put you on the spot. Maybe Ivy and Alice can do an infomercial. We can just boom on some Sundays, and they're speaking about it, and an infomercial, like 20 seconds, so we could put up on a podcast, with their energy, and we just put it out. Yeah,
that would actually be good.
Awesome. Yeah, we could do that.
Maybe we could pre-record it or something like that, and run. And you guys, we put the information up. In other words, run an ad. Run an ad. Maybe, and that's another way to do that. Running that ad, run it through Facebook. Run it through social media platforms and get thousands of hits. You know what I mean?
Yes.
At a low cost. Some of that only costs $20 to do that. But I'm making a repeated ad. That's why we need donations. That's why they need donations. So what I want is that you guys send us the information proper site to go to, whatever, so that these people would know this is exactly what I need to do or how I need to donate. We've already discussed. I don't know if RW, you got $100 for me, so that I can donate to you guys. And whatever have you. Hopefully there's other people out. When this go up, it still get a lot of hits, sometime up to 300 hits. So there is people who are going to definitely be watching. Maybe I need to separate this podcast too, so it'll be another one to come on separately and not just in the whole podcast, so people would miss it. Because I'm very interested in this one. We'll do a watch party on this one as well.
And if you want, I can have some, if you wanted to do another podcast or whatever, I can have some of the some of the other speakers come on and talk about it as well, and talk about what we're doing, because we do have the Twitter storm and the town hall meeting.
That's right. Yeah, let's do that. Let's set that up. I'm serious now. Let's set that up. We need to get back with you guys, set that up, and get some dates together so that we can bring it back on, and then just make this a big ordeal, because it should be a voice is heard within the communities and surrounding areas around, that people will know, because it's going to affect them too.
Absolutely. That's why we're reaching out.
Domino effect.
Yeah, domino effect. And then how other cities aren't going to get into. You need to make this guy an example. He need to be made an example that, listen, you can't, we don't know how long it's been going on, but you just can't think you could sit down and make a decision on, hey, I'm going to do this, but I'm not going to do that. You're breaking the law either way it goes.
Yeah. Like, uphold the law, dude.
Yeah, you're breaking the law. That's how I look at it. You're breaking the law. I thought you're supposed to uphold it, Joker. You know what I mean? So, but I digress from that. So, guys, listen, we're going to call it short. We thank you for coming on.
Thank you for having us.
We thank you. And listen, kudos.
You gave people information to think critically about what's going on, because the moderates, the ones that's, real comfortable, like they probably are looking at it like, oh, that's a good thing. But you offer a perspective that puts it under a more, give it more critical thought. Yeah. And like you say, really pushing that equality model, as a solution to what he's already, offering up, I think is very powerful.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah.
So kudos to you guys. Yeah. That's right. Yes. Keep up the good work. We commend you guys for being soldiers out here in the field, doing what it is you do, and we just pray God's strength over you guys, that you can continue, and there will be a success in this. We just got to get more and more people. Just
that's what we need. We need people to come on board. We need you to help us. You need to make them phone calls, write them letters. Donate, whatever, and walk with us. Come to the rally. The rally is awesome. It's survivors and advocates and leaders just walking together for a good cause. It's a great opportunity, great moment. Town hall meeting. We want to educate the people, because it is your children and your in your neighborhoods that he's talking about doing this in.
That's right.
Make sure we get the information for the town hall and the rally, because I definitely want to make time either come to a town hall or come to the rally and hit the street. So just make sure we have dates and information so I can put it on my agenda to come out.
And what is your podcast? You say you do a podcast every Sunday.
Yeah, Sunday. Tell them about it, Ivy.
Well, it's not necessarily a podcast. I'm the chair of the Human Trafficking Committee through Women Win Michigan, and every Sunday at 2:00, we meet to discuss policies around human trafficking. The way everything just kind of started was because through Women Win Michigan, there were several committees set up. I chose to be over the human trafficking one, just based on my experience overall, because I felt like I added like a unique perspective from being an exotic dancer to a political candidate. I'm like, who does that? And from a clinical perspective, because I'm a social worker, so it's nothing, that girls say to me that I'm just taken aback from. So I decided to have this committee and just take it to a whole different level, and bring in survivors, because it's like you can't talk about recovery. You can't talk about what needs to be done, because half of the people that I talk to are just like, oh, okay, or they want to throw out stats and numbers. It's just like, I mean, with all due respect, I really don't care about like the numbers and stuff like that. What matters to me is that it's real out here. Girls are being trafficked. Girls are being sold. Men, women, boys, children. And that's the issue. These are the issues, that I've dealt with and I've worked in for so long. So we meet on Sundays to discuss everything, whether it's from just educating other people that come in, because a lot of people don't understand what sex trafficking and what exploitation really is, because they see stuff on a movie, or they read some Google stats, or they see something on social media and think that they're an expert and think that they know something. So for me, having a survivor component was the most important thing, because I can't tackle policies, I can't tackle laws, I can't even write a treatment plan. I can't even address a treatment plan in a clinical setting without having that extra piece of knowledge. So this is what we're doing.
Okay, but do you now? Is there a way that they can watch it, or how does that work in terms of the pod?
They it's a link that goes out. If anyone is interested, they can email me, and the email is vote.
Write this down, producer. Write this down to put this up on the lower third. It's called vote.
At the Pink District.
Okay. Vote at the pinkdistrict.com. Okay, we're gonna put that up. I want to put that up so later on, when it's just go out, people be able to see it when it's going out. So okay, so that's great. And they can watch this every Sunday at 2:00.
Well, you know what? I'll actually, if you go to the pinkdistrict.com, give me a little minute, I'll actually post it on my website. So if you want to go to that, you can go there and sign up if you would like.
Okay. Okay. Oh, that's great. Okay, so just send us whatever you guys want us to. But I'm interested in finding a way so that people can donate, because you're gonna need some money to back some of these things, especially these billboards or whatever it is that can put pressure on this character, and they can, whatever we need. Money is it's not the all answer, but it can help. You know what I mean? It definitely can help, especially as a tool in this situation. So if you can send us that over, we can obviously put that and keep it on the screen. But here's another thing. RW3 said it, and I am going to offer my service, and here it is clear, for free. Let me say it again, for free. I'm offering my service for free, that I will help you guys make a promo video. A promo video. If you want to do the promo video, we just got to set up some time so that we can definitely run it. I can give it back to you guys. You can run it. You can send it to people, and they can put it on their social media platforms so that you can say what it is you want to say about this guy. Maybe we can get his picture. Just make sure you say everything right so it won't come back as defamation. You know what I mean? So make sure whatever it is. But I'm willing to put together the edit for you guys so that you can push this as a promotion, and it's free of charge to us, that we would definitely help you in this area. But we got to get together, and you're gonna have to let us know as soon as possible so we can get this thing rolling. Because I'm into results. I want things to happen. You know what I mean? So let's do this ASAP, and you reach out to us, guys. So we're gonna call it. This pod as it is, we're gonna call it now. It's 7:09, guys. But we like to thank you.
Yes.
Thank you for having us. Bye bye. I'll talk to you soon.
We talk RW3.
I'm gonna email you.
Stay on RW3 Levy T. Stay on. Yeah. Okay, guys. We'll talk to you soon, guys.